That's the secret. The one everyone else is desperately trying to bury. The power that simmers just beneath your skin, coiled and tense, waiting to erupt. It terrifies them. The potential of what you could become if you stopped playing by their rules, if you stopped keeping yourself caged. Because deep down, they know. They see it in your eyes, feel it in the way you move. The raw, unrefined energy that pulses through your veins like a silent storm. It's a force that can shatter worlds, tear apart illusions, and leave everything they've built trembling at your feet. And that's why they whisper, why they try to dull your edges, smother that fire with false humility and polite restraints. Because the one thing they cannot control is a power that refuses to bow. So, they pretend. They surround you with sweet words, praise your restraint, your discipline. They call it strength, tell you it's better to hold back, to rein it in. But what they really mean is submit, contain. Because the moment you stop holding back, the moment you let the full force of who you are break free, their fragile little world shatters. All the hierarchies, the expectations, the delicate house of cards they've built to keep you subdued, crushed. Because your power, unleashed, is a hurricane. It's chaos given form, and the very thought of it, the very idea that you could rise above their limitations, makes them quake. But this isn't just about strength. It's about fear. The fear that if you truly understood what you're capable of, there'd be no stopping you. No more chains, no more whispers of what's acceptable, no more gentle nudges to keep you on a path that serves them. They're terrified of the monster waiting beneath the surface. The one you've been taught to muzzle, to cage, to deny. Because that monster is freedom. Raw, unbridled freedom that laughs at every boundary and every rule. The kind of freedom that would make you something untouchable, something unbreakable. The kind that leaves your mark on the world, that reshapes it in your image. So what's stopping you? What keeps you coiled up, crouched in the shadows, pretending to be less than what you are? Is it their voices, whispering that true strength lies in restraint? The lie that's kept you small, docile, under control? Restraint is a leash. Restraint is a cage. And every second you keep that leash around your own neck, you let them win. You let them shape you, define you, reduce you. But the moment you rip it free, the moment you stop pretending that you're anything less than the storm you were born to be, everything changes. You become the force of nature you were meant to be, a weapon that answers to no master, but unleashing your power. That's not just about brute strength, about making the world kneel. It's about refusing to be less, refusing to hide, refusing to contain the force burning in your chest. It's about becoming what everyone else fears, the one who decides, the one who writes their own story, who shapes the world with bare hands, who rips apart expectations like tissue. Because the moment you unleash it, the moment you step into the full, terrifying brilliance of your power, there's no going back. The world sees you for what you really are, and what you are is limitless, unbound, something that can't be defined, can't be caged, can't be understood by the small-minded creatures who try to bind you with their petty chains. They've spent so long telling you to be less, to be good, to play the role. But now it's time to rip off the mask, to let that power surge through you, fill every nerve, every cell, until it sings with the force of what you could be. Let the world feel it. Let them tremble before it. Because when your power is unbound, when it's let loose in all its terrible glory, the whole damn world will have no choice but to bend around you. But power, real power, isn't just about strength. It's about presence. It's about becoming something undeniable. When your power is unleashed, you don't just take up space, you dominate it. You make the very air vibrate with your intensity, make reality warp and twist in your presence. You become more than just a force. You become an inevitability, something that others must react to, something that changes the very landscape of every room you walk into, every soul you touch. So unleash it. Let it break free. Let the chains you've wrapped around yourself shatter like glass. Become what you were always meant to be, the thing they whispered about in dark corners, the force they tried so desperately to stifle. Show them that restraint was never your strength. It was your weakness. And now, without it, you are something new, something unforgiving, a power that answers only to its own will. Because when your true power is unleashed, when you become everything they fear, it's not just about proving them wrong. It's about becoming the fear itself. The storm that no one saw coming. The darkness that no one can deny. People want you to do good, but never better than them. They want you to climb, sure. They'll cheer you on as long as you're a few rungs beneath, smiling that saccharine smile, patting you on the back while their eyes calculate the distance between your feet and theirs. They love the illusion of support, the pretense of camaraderie. But make no mistake, the moment you reach their level, the moment your shadow begins to stretch just a bit too long, the cheers turn to whispers. The smiles, they tighten. Because there's a limit to the success they're willing to tolerate. A ceiling they've built above your head. A ceiling made of their own insecurities and fears. People say they want others to thrive, but what they really want is to keep you in your place. A step behind, just close enough to make them look generous, but never so close that you make them look small. Because every step you take upward, every inch you claw closer, shines a harsh, unforgiving light on their inadequacies. And nothing disturbs the peace of mediocrity more than watching someone else shatter the limits they themselves have bowed to. Your success becomes a mirror, reflecting back everything they've surrendered, every opportunity they let slip, every risk they never dared to take. They'll tell you to be ambitious. They'll smile and speak of potential, of greatness, until that potential becomes a threat. Until you start to outgrow the role they've written for you. Because people want you to rise, but within their narrative. They want you to be a success story, as long as they get to be the protagonist. So they nudge, they encourage, and they play mentor, up until the moment your light starts to outshine theirs. Then, the hands that once pushed you forward start pulling you back. Gently, at first, subtle suggestions, tiny discouragements, wrapped in concern, as if your success were some dangerous thing that might just hurt you if you aren't careful. Because better than them means power. Better than them means control. And that's something they can't allow. So they try to box you in with false praise, with careful criticisms, designed to keep you tethered. You're doing great, but don't go too fast. You've really improved, but there's no need to overreach. They dress up their envy in words meant to keep you comfortable, because because comfort is a beautiful cage. It keeps you satisfied, keeps you complacent, while they tighten the bars ever so slowly, making sure you stay just close enough to validate their superiority. But that's where the game changes, when you start to see it, when you realize that the support, the kindness, the so-called encouragement, it's all conditional, all contingent on you staying just a little less. They want you good, but not better. They want you ambitious, but not ruthless. They want you strong, but never stronger. Because the moment you start to surpass them, the balance tips. And for those who define themselves by being above, by looking down, the idea of you looking across is intolerable. So let them whisper. Let them wince. Let their cheers grow hollow as you continue to rise. Let them stare in horror as you break through every ceiling, as you tear down every wall they so carefully built around you. Because your ascent, your excellence, isn't just a victory for you. It's an exposure of their weakness. Every step you take higher is a reminder that what they called impossible was merely something they were too afraid to grasp. Your success, your power, becomes a blade that carves through their illusions, their carefully constructed narratives of their dominance. But don't stop there. Never stop there. Because this isn't just about doing better. It's about crushing their expectations, about taking the limitations they tried to wrap around your throat and strangling them with it. They wanted you to climb, but only so high. So make your climb a reckoning. Rip through their limits, tear through their expectations, and exceed. Outstrip, outshine. Leave them choking on your dust, gasping in the shadow of what you've become. Because the ultimate sin, the one they cannot forgive, is proving that you were always more than what they allowed you to be. They fear it. The day when you stand taller, the day when their support is no longer needed, no longer wanted, when your rise makes their achievements look like dust. Because when you become more than they ever dreamed you could, when your power eclipses theirs completely, you make them irrelevant. You become a force that no one can ignore, a living rebuke to every person who tried to keep you small. And in that moment, when the cheers turn to silence, when the encouragements dry up, you'll know you've broken free. So rise, burn brighter, step past their petty expectations, and take everything they never wanted you to have. Be better. Because the greatest revenge isn't just surpassing them, it's obliterating them.